Samantha Cruz stood alone under the cold fluorescent lights of the 42nd floor boardroom. It was past midnight, the city below, glowing like a galaxy of dreams she no longer believed in. She wrung out her mop with numb hands. On the far counter beside an untouched cappuccino and half a printed stock report. A wallet. Not just any wallet, black Italian leather monogrammed in silver AV Asher Varlin, CEO of Valen Corp. Ruthless, visionary, rumored to test his staff with integrity traps. Inside stacks of crisp $100 bills and a note. Let's see who you really are. Sam didn't flinch. She didn't touch the money, but she did leave a note of her own. And in the morning, everything changed. The boss called a meeting. His voice thundered through the executive floor. What he read out loud stunned the room, and within hours the janitor became something else entirely. But the real story, it's not about the wallet. It's about why she saw what no one else did. Stay with this story because the ending will challenge everything you believe about second chances. The hum of the industrial floor buffer echoed faintly through the empty halls of Arcadia Financial Tower. Samantha Cruz had gotten used to the loneliness. Midnight meant silence, meant floors to mop, trash bins to empty, and a chance to think without interruption. Not that her thoughts were always kind. She moved slowly through the conference level, her cart squeaking behind her. The scent of citrus cleanser mixed with the faint aroma of burnt espresso wafting from abandoned executive mugs. Arcadia had once symbolized everything she dreamed of. Glass elevators, sky view, lounges, rooms that spoke in millions. She'd once walked halls like these in pencil skirts and heels holding pitch decks, not mops. But that felt like someone else's life. Now her reflection appeared faint and ghost-like in the high-polished windows. Ponytail messy, uniform 2 sizes too large, eyes tired. Still she worked with precision. Quiet pride threaded each sweep of her mop. Her little girl deserved that much. At 2:47 a.m., Samantha arrived on the 42nd floor, the executive suite of Valen Corp Capital. She always saved it for last. It was pristine, cold, minimalist. Too perfect, almost like it tried to erase evidence that humans ever walked through it. As she sprayed cleaner across the glass conference table, something caught her eye. A wallet, sleek, black, expensive-looking, left beside a stack of high-level reports near the espresso station. Curious, she glanced around. No one. The floor was empty. The cameras, probably watched by someone half asleep, didn't worry her. She opened the wallet. Slowly. Not to take, just to confirm. Inside, thick bundles of cash, hundreds, maybe thousands, platinum cards, a key card, and a note. She read it twice. Let's see who you really are. Sam exhaled. The message wasn't threatening. Not exactly. But it was deliberate, planted. A test. She'd heard rumors about Asher Valen, how he hired people based on instincts, not resumes, how he staged setups to observe integrity. Most thought it was corporate folklore, but here it was, real. She sat down, just for a second. The leather of the executive chair was soft against her back. Too soft. She stood up again. Then she pulled out the crumpled notepad from her apron, the same one she used for shopping lists and motivational quotes. And she wrote, "You left your wallet. I returned everything. Also on the boardroom whiteboard, your calculation on the Zenith merger undervalues their IP portfolio by 18%. Recommend a second look respectfully. Sam Night Cleaning Staff." She slid the note inside, closed the wallet, wiped the table one last time, and walked away. Morning arrived with tension in the air. The operations office was rarely visited by executives. But today, Asher Varlin himself stood there, tall, sharp in a grey suit, eyes blazing with something no one could quite name. His assistant Maya Chen trailed behind him nervously. He held the wallet in one hand, and in the other Sam's note. "I want to know," he said aloud, holding it up, "who the hell Sam from night cleaning is." Silence. Everyone stared. Maya stepped forward. "Sir, I can pull her personnel file." "Do that," Asher said. He turned to leave, but paused at the door. "Also, set up a meeting. Tonight, after her shift." Sam didn't know any of this when she woke up late that morning. She had 3 hours of sleep. Her daughter Nia had a fever. The daycare almost turned her away. Her bus ran late. By the time she clocked in that night, Sam looked more like a ghost than a person. Halfway through, scrubbing the stairwell, she heard a voice behind her. "You Samantha Cruz?" She turned, startled. Maya Chen stood at the bottom of the stairs, hair perfectly pinned, tablet in hand, but her voice warm, unusually kind. "I'm sorry," Sam said, brushing her gloves on her uniform. "Is there a problem?" "You've been asked to come upstairs. CEO's office." Sam blinked. "Me." Maya nodded. The elevator ride to the 42nd floor felt infinite. Sam's reflection shimmered in the mirrored walls. Her uniform was clean, but still, she didn't feel ready for whatever this was. When the doors opened, the suite was empty, except for Asher Valen. He sat at the head of the boardroom table. A different note in front of him now. Her note. "I've had analysts miss what you spotted," he said without looking up. Sam didn't speak. He gestured to the seat across from him. "You could have taken the money." She nodded slowly. "I could have. You didn't." "No," she said. "Why not?" Sam exhaled. "Because I'm not that person." Asher looked up. His eyes studied her. "No, you're not." He stood, walked to the whiteboard. "This merger Zenith, you think we undervalued their portfolio?" "Yes." "You're confident?" "Yes." He was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled, a small, unreadable smile. "Starting Monday, you'll come in from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., part-time. I'll have you reviewing financial models." Sam blinked. "Wait, what?" "You'll still clean if you want, but I'm paying you separately." "Analyst rate." She couldn't speak. "You earned this," he added. "I don't care what your resume says." Downstairs, Maya watched the elevator numbers shift. When Sam finally stepped out, stunned, wide-eyed Maya handed her a sealed folder. "Your contract offer," she said with a smile. Sam took it. Still stunned, still silent, but inside her chest something stirred that hadn't moved in years. Hope. And behind them, in the shadows of the glass wall, Asher watched with crossed arms. "Let's see what she really does next," he muttered to himself. Sam spent the weekend in a haze of disbelief. Her daughter Nia was too young to understand what had happened, but Sam could hardly stop smiling every time she looked at her. They sat on the floor together, surrounded by building blocks and half-eaten Cheerios, while Sam reread the offer letter at least 5 times. It wasn't a full-time job, not yet, but it paid more in 3 hours than she made in a night shift. And more than that, someone had seen her. Really seen her. On Monday evening, Sam stood outside the elevator to the 42nd floor, holding her breath. She wore her old blazer, one she had almost donated years ago, over her cleaning uniform. It didn't quite fit anymore, but it made her feel like herself again. The executive floor looked different now, not because it had changed, but because she no longer felt invisible walking through it. Maya met her at the glass door. "Come with me. I'll get you logged in." Sam followed her past rows of quiet desks and sleek light fixtures. "I just wanted to say," Maya said, typing something into the system, "what you did. Most people wouldn't have had the guts." Sam hesitated. It didn't feel like guts, just like breathing. That made Maya pause. She looked at Sam, really looked at her. "You ever worked in finance before?" she asked, almost teasing. "I built predictive models for Dolstra Analytics," Sam replied, voice steady, "until I got laid off when I was 6 months pregnant." Maya blinked. "Seriously?" Sam nodded. "Surprise restructuring." The silence between them stretched, then softened. Maya handed her a badge. "This is temporary access. Let me show you your desk." Sam's desk was modest, tucked beside a window that framed the city skyline in warm gold and neon blue. There was a monitor, a fresh notepad, a pen, and a stack of reports waiting for review. As she sat down, her hands trembled slightly, not from nerves, but from the surreal gravity of being here in this chair again. And yet, it felt right. She opened the first file. It was a mid-cap merger deal with unusual cash flow statements. She traced the inconsistencies in the data flow quickly, her brain locking in like it used to a familiar rhythm of variables and gut instinct. Within 15 minutes, she had flagged 2 potential risk patterns. By the end of the first hour, she had outlined 3 key adjustments that could save the firm over $400,000. No one noticed, no one praised. But that night, when she returned to her janitorial shift, mop in hand, she was smiling. And Asher behind his glass door noticed that smile. By the end of her first week, things changed. Not officially, but in the way people looked at her. Some stared too long in the break room. Some lowered their voices when she passed. Others, like Todd from accounts, made a point of accidentally bumping into her. "So, you're the wallet girl," he said, eyes flicking up and down her uniform. Sam didn't flinch. "I guess I am." Ballsy move, calling out the zenith numbers, he added with a smirk. "Most of us just keep our heads down." "Sometimes the numbers speak louder than the title," she replied. Todd snorted and walked off. Later that night, Maya found her in the lounge, typing up a summary note on the Mercury acquisition model. "People will talk," Maya warned gently. Sam nodded. "They already are." Maya leaned against the counter. "You could ask for a reassignment." Clean slate. Sam closed her laptop slowly. "I don't need clean. Just true." Maya looked at her for a long moment, and then smiled. "I like you, Cruz." As the weeks passed, Sam's role expanded. Quietly, unofficially. She was still clocking in for her cleaning shift, still picking up Nia from daycare, but now her inbox filled with internal requests from analysts and risk managers she'd never met asking for her take. Her math, her eye. One of those people was Director Hassan Mehta, head of risk compliance. He cornered her near the copy machine one evening. "You worked on the Bolton model?" he asked abruptly. "Yes. Your adjustments saved our quarterly risk rating. I just added a few inputs the system missed." "You rewrote half the logic." Sam didn't know what to say. "Valen's watching you," he added. "But so is everyone else." He didn't smile, just walked away. That night, Sam stayed late, not because she had to, but because she wanted to finish building a new tool. A spreadsheet that tracked partner deviation trends across 12 quarters, something she'd once dreamed of building at Dolstra. She left it on Ash's desk. No name, no note, just the tool. A week later, she found something new at her desk. A nameplate. Samantha Cruz, Risk Insights Associate. No announcement, no HR meeting, just a nameplate and a system login that worked for every terminal on the 42nd floor. She ran her fingers across the engraved letters, then looked up and saw Maya watching from across the room. Maya winked. Sam smiled back this time with something deeper than pride. Something like peace. But not everyone was happy. Todd made sure to roll his eyes loudly when Sam passed. One evening she overheard him muttering to another associate in the corridor. "I give it a month. Valen's pet project will crash. Watch." She didn't respond. But the next day, Sam emailed him a correction on his Q4 assumptions, CC'd to the entire team. He didn't reply. One night, Maya invited Sam to get coffee after their shift. They sat outside a small cafe across from the tower, their jackets zipped up against the early winter air. So Maya said, sipping her latte, "You're basically a legend now." Sam laughed softly. "I'm not sure that's the word. You know what people say about Valen," Maya continued, "that he doesn't believe in resumes, only in action. No degrees, no references, just proof." Sam looked down at her cup. "Makes sense. I've never been good at talking myself up." Maya studied her. "You don't need to. You make people listen by showing them who you are." Sam nodded quietly. A pause. Then Maya added gently, "I've been meaning to tell you something. I used to want to be more than an assistant here. I interned in finance, but I made a mistake. Took the blame for someone else. Got sidelined. Never fought back." Sam looked up. "Why not?" "Because no one ever gave me a chance to prove I was more." The air between them softened. Sam reached out, touched her hand lightly. "You still can." Maya blinked, then smiled. A little sad, a little hopeful. "Maybe." Later that night, Sam passed by the boardroom again. She paused by the spot where the wallet once lay. The cleaner's cart stood beside her, and on the whiteboard was a new Formula One she hadn't seen. It was wrong. She grabbed the marker and made a silent correction, then walked out, leaving only her handwriting behind. The building didn't feel like a tower anymore. It felt like a beginning. By the end of her third month in the dual roles, janitor by title, analyst by results, Samantha Cruz had become an enigma inside Valencorp. She was no longer spoken about in hushed tones. She was studied. Still, her name hadn't been added to the employee newsletter. Her promotion hadn't been posted on LinkedIn or announced at a staff meeting. It was as if the company couldn't quite figure out how to explain her. Some thought she was a plant, some secret AI experiment of Valen's. Others whispered she must have had dirt on the board. One intern even theorized she was Ash's half-sister from an estranged mother. But none of the theories matched what they could see. Every time she spoke in a data review, people took notes. Every model she touched turned cleaner, tighter, more predictive. And every night she still wore the same navy blue uniform and pushed her mop down the silent hallways. One rainy Tuesday, Sam found herself summoned again, this time not by Asher but by Maya. Come to conference room C, the message read. Inside, Maya stood beside a nervous-looking young man with two tight slacks and a stack of folders. This is Julian, Maya said. He's a junior analyst starting a new role under you. Sam blinked. Under me. Maya smiled. Welcome to mentorship. Julian looked unsure. So I report to her, like, officially. You do, now Maya replied, stepping back. And she's going to teach you how to stop overfitting your models. Stat. Sam stifled a laugh. Hi, Julian. You're holding your folder upside down. Their first session was awkward. Julian fidgeted constantly, trying to impress. I ran a Monte Carlo simulation once for a school project, he said proudly. Sam nodded. Great. You'll love rerunning one with actual weighted variables. He squinted. Wait, they weren't supposed to be all equal. Nope. Oh. Still, over the next few days, he improved. Quickly. And despite himself, Julian began to admire her. You don't talk like the other managers, he said during one late session. I'm not like the other managers, Sam replied without looking up. Yeah, but like in a good way. She raised an eyebrow. He shrugged. They make me nervous. You don't? She smiled. Give it time. But something else shifted too quietly under the surface. Sam noticed Maya passing her more glances during meetings. Little things. Bringing her the right coffee without asking. A gentle shoulder bump in the elevator. A late-night text. You okay after Sam missed a Thursday shift to care for Nia? One night, after a long data sprint and Chinese takeout, Maya lingered behind as everyone left the office. You're incredible, you know, that she said softly. Sam looked up from her notes. You're just saying that because I saved you from presenting Todd's error this morning. No, Maya said. Then after a pause, I mean it. There was silence. Not uncomfortable, just unspoken. Then Maya leaned closer. Have dinner with me. Not here. Not work. Sam blinked. Maya smiled gently. Just think about it. And left. The next morning, Sam stood at the playground behind Nia's daycare, watching her daughter wobble across the wood chips toward a red slide. There was a quiet joy in it, this messy, beautiful little life she'd built. A woman next to her. Cassie, a fellow single mom, struck up conversation. I heard you work at that giant glass place downtown, she said. With the rooftop restaurant. Sam laughed. I work there, but not in the restaurant. You a secretary? No, Sam replied. I analyze risk models. Cassie's eyes widened. Wait! Like finance? Yeah. How'd you land that those jobs are like Harvard only? Sam thought for a second, then smiled. I returned a wallet. Cassie laughed, assuming it was a joke. Sam didn't correct her. But behind the glass walls of the 42nd floor, not everyone was thrilled about Sam's growing influence. Todd, in particular, felt himself sidelined. It didn't help that his last proposal had been shredded politely but thoroughly by one of Sam's quiet memos. He cornered Julian one evening in the break room. You like working for her? He asked. Julian shrugged. She's smart. Way smarter than anyone in that room. Todd narrowed his eyes. She's still a janitor. Julian didn't flinch. Not anymore, Todd sneered. She doesn't belong here. She belongs more than you do, Julian replied. Todd shoved his coffee into the trash and walked off. The tension bubbled quietly but visibly. Asher noticed. One afternoon he called Sam into his office. You're making waves, he said. Good ones or bad ones? He tilted his head. That depends on who you ask. She leaned forward. You didn't hire me to blend in, he smiled. No, I didn't. Then he stood and walked to the window. There's talk. Board members. They're confused by you. They think I skipped the line. They think you're rewriting the line. She let the silence sit for a beat. Is that a problem? No, he said, turning around, but it means it's time we made it official. Sam blinked. What does that mean? I want you full-time, he said. Head of Applied Risk Insights. Build your own team. Report directly to me. Her heart stopped. That's a lot. You can handle it. She hesitated. What if people push back? They will, he said simply. Let them. Sam looked down at her hands. She thought of Nia's fever last week, of folding laundry at midnight, of her old office at Dolstra now filled by someone else. And then she looked up. I'll do it. Later that night, she found Maya in the lounge, eating from a Tupperware container of stir-fry. So, Sam said, leaning on the counter. Dinner. Maya looked up surprised, then smiled. Dinner. The announcement went live 2 days later. It was simple, direct. A company-wide email. Please welcome Samantha Cruz as our new head of Applied Risk Insights. Her exceptional work has already saved this firm millions and shaped our future. We're lucky to have her. No resume attached, no backstory given, but within hours Slack lit up. Some celebrated, some questioned. One anonymous message on the feedback board read, "She was cleaning toilets last month. Now she's a director nepotism much." Another days later, "She's rewriting the rules, and I'm here for it." That night, Sam stayed after everyone else had gone. She walked the same hallway she used to mop, past the boardroom table where she found the wallet, paused at the window where she once caught her reflection in silence. Now her face looked different. Not younger, not fancier, just present, seen. The door behind her opened. It was Maya. She held out 2 coffees. One for the boss, she teased. Sam took it. They stood in silence, watching the city lights shimmer, and Sam whispered, "I never planned to come back here." Maya smiled. Maybe this place was always waiting for you. By the time spring arrived, Samantha Cruz had become something of a quiet legend inside Vollencorp. Not because she gave speeches, not because she sought attention, but because the systems she built were changing everything. Her models, sleek, adaptable, deeply human, didn't just catch financial inconsistencies. They predicted behavioral shifts in partner firms, flagged fraud patterns before compliance departments even sniffed a problem, and identified market blind spots that traditional analysis missed. Sam didn't call it magic. She called it listening. Listening to what the data whispered. Listening to gut instincts others ignored. Listening to silence the places no one thought to check. In her new office, modest, clean, with a skyline view, Nia loved to press her hands against when she visited Sam, kept 2 things on her desk. A framed photo of Nia laughing with spaghetti sauce on her nose. And the wallet. Yes, that wallet. Still untouched, though Asher had long since laughed and told her to keep it. She never spent a dime. It reminded her that people are always watching, and that integrity once chosen echoes. Her team grew. Julian stayed sharp now, confident. 2 more junior analysts joined Ava, an ex-math teacher returning from maternity leave, and Malik, a former startup CFO burnt out by venture culture. Together they formed something rare, a team that felt like family. Open door, no posturing, just brilliance and curiosity. Maya visited often, sometimes on official errands, other times to sit across from Sam's desk, feet tucked under her chair, eating strawberries and talking about everything but work. One Thursday afternoon, Maya arrived with a small cream-colored envelope. "Mailroom delivered this," she said, handing it over. No return address. Sam opened it slowly. Inside a handwritten note. "You don't know me, but my sister works night shift cleaning offices downtown. She told me your story. Thank you for being proof that it's not over when life knocks you down. Jay." Sam read it twice, then set it gently on her desk beside the wallet. She didn't say anything for a long time. Maya reached over and took her hand. They sat that way until the sun dipped lower behind the skyline. But not all change comes without pushback. During the next quarterly board meeting, murmurs of traditional leadership structure and lack of formal credentials began surfacing again. Sam wasn't invited to the first meeting, but Asher was. And when one board member, a man in his 60s with a Yale pin on his lapel, questioned her promotion, Asher cut him off mid-sentence. "You hired me for results," Asher said, calm but firm. "She delivers them, more than anyone else in this building. But she still works janitorial hours, because she chooses to, because she honors where she came from, and because she doesn't forget the people others overlook." Silence. "Then we'll see if that idealism holds up." Asher smiled. "It already has." The board didn't block her position, but Sam knew their eyes were sharper now, watching, waiting, so she let her work speak. When a client firm in Singapore attempted to quietly reroute third-party payments through a shell company, her algorithms caught it within 36 hours. When a partner's acquisition strategy threatened a blind spot in ESG risk, her forecast prevented a $12 million loss. And when a senior executive tried to undermine her through internal messaging, Sam printed every relevant thread, redacted personal data, and laid out a rational, calm timeline of behavior. She didn't confront, she clarified. By the time it reached HR, the executive had already quietly stepped down, not through drama, but through facts. And in the lunchroom, people noticed not just what she accomplished, but how she did it. Quietly, gracefully, unapologetically. One afternoon, Julian brought her a spreadsheet with a puzzled expression. "These variable drifts," he said, "I don't get them. They're not behaving like they should." Sam pulled her chair beside his and looked, then nodded. "This isn't just a numbers issue," she said. "It's a signal. There's behavioral tension. Fear. Someone's hiding their strategy." Julian blinked. "You can tell that from fluctuation curves." She smiled. "You'd be amazed what people say without meaning to." He watched her thoughtful. "You don't just see patterns. You see people." Sam looked back at him. "That's the job. Whether it's finance or parenting or life, it's always about people." Later that week, Sam received another envelope. But this one came from within the company. Inside was a single sheet. Letterhead Valencorp Capital. Subject, the cruise program, internal proposal for board approval. Asher had written a brief but powerful note. Proposal to launch a think tank initiative under Samantha Cruz's leadership. Focus mentoring overlooked internal talent from non-traditional backgrounds. Mission identify value where others see none. Sam stared at it for a long time, then picked up her pen and added her own line at the bottom. "I accept. But let's include cleaning staff, admin assistants, and security detail in the first recruitment wave. Talent doesn't always wear a suit." The program launched quietly in early summer. 12 participants, from night shift maintenance, daytime reception, customer service, and logistics, each with a mentor from her team, each given a real problem to solve with access to data tools and space to think. Within weeks, one janitor named Marcus discovered a misfiled subcontractor payout structure that had cost the company over $100,000 annually. He now shadowed Malik twice a week. Another Priya from front desk operations rewrote the onboarding model for partner tracking, streamlining two departments' workflows overnight. People began whispering again, but this time it sounded different. Less suspicion, more awe. Asher visited her office one night. He leaned on the doorframe, coffee in hand. "You've changed this place," he said. "I just pulled back the curtain." He smiled. "No?" "You flipped the whole stage." Then he nodded toward her desk. "The wallet," he said. "You kept it." "I did." "Why?" She looked at him. "Because it was never about the trap." He studied her face. "What was it about then?" She paused. "The moment someone gave me a chance. And the moment I proved I didn't need permission." He raised his cup. "To more moments like that." She raised hers. They clinked glasses. Then he added quietly, "I've had 100 people fail that test. Only one rewrote the exam." Sam chuckled. "I wasn't testing myself. I was just being me." Asher smiled. "That's why it worked." Outside the window, dusk settled over the skyline. And on the desk between them sat the cruise program folder, a photo of Nia with a gummy grin, and a wallet no longer full of money, but now stuffed with notes from people she'd mentored, lives she'd changed, and reminders that value was never about visibility. It was about truth. By the end of the year, the cruise program had a wait list. Applicants from every department, IT, warehouse, international branches wanted in. It wasn't just about the promotions, though many got them. It was about being seen, being heard, being invested in. Sam made sure it stayed that way. She met with every cohort personally, reviewed their project notes, made time for one-on-one check-ins, even if it meant staying late or arriving early. Some nights she still slipped into her old janitorial uniform, not because she had to, but because it reminded her of who she was. It reminded others too. The story had gone company-wide. Some executives still rolled their eyes when no one was watching, but fewer than before. Because results spoke, and so did loyalty. Staff turnover dropped. Innovation surged. Valencorp's public image subtly shifted, less cold, more human. Investors noticed. So did the press. Still, Sam stayed grounded. She and Nia had moved into a modest condo across town, closer to work with a little balcony for plants. Every evening, Nia would wait by the window, crayons in hand, asking if today Sam fixed more grown-up math. One night, while tucking her in, Nia whispered, "I want to be like you when I grow up." Sam smiled. "You already are." In early December, an unexpected invite arrived. A handwritten letter from the Arcadia Tower Management Office. Inside, "You've been nominated for the Horizon Award, honoring individuals who elevate others through integrity and innovation." The nominator asked to remain anonymous, but they included a note. She saw something in a forgotten wallet. Not just money, not just power. She saw a chance to stay true to herself, and from that, she lifted a company. Sam closed the letter slowly, folded it, then set it next to the original note from the wallet. 2 pieces of paper. 2 worlds apart, same truth. The award ceremony came and went. Sam wore a simple navy dress. She didn't prepare a speech, just spoke from the heart. When the standing ovation faded, she spotted Asher clapping slowly, Maya beside him beaming. Later, while everyone posed for photos and drank champagne, Sam slipped out to the balcony alone. The city shimmered below, busy and full of stories. She pulled out her phone and texted Nia's babysitter. "Tell her I'm coming home early. We're getting pancakes. No reason needed." Then she put the phone away and closed her eyes. The night was cool, peaceful. She remembered that first moment standing in front of a forgotten wallet, staring at a decision no one would have known she made. But she would have known, and that had been enough. Because sometimes the boss leaves his wallet on purpose. But what the janitor does next, that changes everything. Have you ever faced a moment where doing the right thing meant no one would notice but you did it anyway? Sometimes it's those quiet choices that shape the loudest parts of our lives. Sam's story reminds us real change often begins with small acts of honesty done when no one's watching. If this story spoke to something in you, we'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you'd like more stories like this, feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell. Thanks for staying till the end. See you in the next one.